Yeah, and well, now nouns can say, okay, then it's Dawnbreaker Hoodwink. That's our off lane. Done.
Mm.
This is Undying, which almost certainly has to be Prada's Undying, even though, talking about 5 RAM, maybe we would say that this could be their offlaner, but I just feel like there's almost no way. And hey,
Yeah.
Infinity could flex it if they needed to. And I feel like Undying honestly slots into what a lot of the other heroes that Frank plays wants to do, but of course, flexibility that they will maintain up until we see nouns as lanes. Nouns have much more difficult position to be in. I think, honestly, though, with the Undying pickup, this is where I would love to see them just simply go for perhaps the Mirana. Just another hero to kill Tomb. One of the best fives as well. A hero that we haven't seen in a little bit because it's just been hoodwink time, but is still just as strong and should probably be valued or kicked up another notch. I think right now Husky really has his pick. And let's see.
Okay.
Lifestealer. Okay, so early carry pick and not wanting to use that much reserve time because surely they're going to do a back-to-back support plus Lifestealer, but that is different. Okay.
Hmm. Not quite what we were expecting, or certainly not for this point in the draft, I suppose, as follow up the Lifestealer with that Crystal Maiden, so Jakiro does not get banned, but nobody ends up picking it up. Kind of rare to see, but, well, I don't know. We like the Jakiro ET, but you don't want to see it in every single game. It's nice for something to be switched.
Yeah, now Infinity, say it. Is Medusa looking good enough, or do you want something else versus the Nakes?
There it
And nope,
is.
it is looking good enough. And I mean, I don't know. I had that sixth sense. I had that feeling coming out of those bands that maybe that's what Noun should have looked for. But we'll have to see if this Lifesteal is going to be able to keep up with the Medusa, because now it is a matter of map control and pace. Because Medusa will outfarm you. It's just a matter of how close you can keep it with objectives, with forcing her out of the triangle. It's where Nouns, I think, need to pick up a maniac of a hero for Gunner to
Yeah.
stop this Medusa from farming. Because otherwise, well, sure, your heroes are strong. Rubik's CM, once you get 6, you got a lot of magic damage, but paired alongside the Doom, control is lacking right now. We don't have a good reason to stay around. Yamson can hold you there with the Ghoul Frenzy, but aside from that, I am concerned right now for the lockdown. I also feel like Infinity don't care about getting caught. They've got 2 healers on their team. They've got the Stone Gaze reaction. It's where Parker, unless he's doomed, and we already know he's kind of okay getting doomed, should be able to react to quite a lot and be that big, beefy Infinity put everything on top of him. And I don't know if this snake dies.
Mm-hmm. And that's part of the reason I like that ban for them to start. They take the Lino away because Nouns needs someone who is going to be the sledgehammer, who is going to just barrel his way through the Medusa's shield quickly, because Doom and Lifestealer, they don't do that. They're set up maybe for the longer engagement to whittle her down, but someone has to be the lead, has to serve as the tip of the spear, and I don't know, outside of the Lina, it's a little bit rough for them in terms of what they want to pick up for Gunner, because you can absolutely
Oh,
get more. Ooh, yeah, that would have been the other sort of big one. You can get more lockdown, you can get more damage over time, but the burst potential is kind of in limited supply.
well, the Invoker, perfect ban, just extremely solid. And Nouns are running out of reserve time now, and well, what shall it be? It's where I think, and well, we'll see it pick up. It is just the Ember, and my big concern is now, do Infinity just, let's say, pick up the Kunkka, and then they really say, Nouns, do you have enough damage?
Yeah.
I feel like that's the immediate Leo style pickup, but I could also see him maybe decide to just play Storm Spirit in this situation, but I feel like just
Mm.
keep it simple, extremely simple for Leo style. There also might be, I hazard to say, a Huskar pick somewhere, knowing Leo style and what he's got and what's been banned, and that's not what I
Hmm.
expected. Okay, is this now? Yeah, Dawnbreaker mid, and
Yeah.
then they move Frank over. So they move past what would have been maybe a slightly more difficult lane for the Dawnbreaker, but getting last pick Beastmaster, I mean, in previous metas, this is a just calling card for Frank, but also just could be enough for Nouns to just not have enough damage, to not have enough game to play with, because, well, now you've got your attack speed boosted, healed up, aura, steroided Medusa that's going to run at you. And Nouns have to make small but impactful plays pretty much the entire game. And if they ever drop the ball, then Parker Medusa could just win the game.
Yeah, it's already, or was already going to be unbelievably difficult to kill Parker even before the Beastmaster pick. But now, if Mu wants to Doom, you have to avoid Frank. If you get the Doom and Yamson wants to push in for damage, you have to avoid Frank. You must be aware of this Beastmaster's positions at all times, otherwise the initiation that you would need to even have a chance of killing this Medusa can be turned around in an instant.
Yeah, and a part of me is a little amazed that they decided to pick it into the CM, but of course, Frank's
True.
just gonna get axes. He's just gonna spam it out. It'll be just as annoying, but I do want to see and play pretty close attention to that lane and see how bad of a start Frank can get. Because, great player, but we've seen him get some pretty bad Beastmaster games in the past. I feel like I've seen Helm of the Dominators, 9, 10 minutes, much later than you would ideally want. But other than that, I think Nouns have their work cut out for them. I do like Lifestealer versus Medusa, even though they decided to go for it for Parker, just because you can look for those super long fights. If you can isolate her, kill everybody else first, and then save her for last, that's something that really Lifestealer as a hero can facilitate. But I just worry that Nouns are on a timer, that if they don't kill everybody by the time that Doomed Medusa is done, well, then Parker might just have enough to kill everybody else.
Be tough for them. We shall see. It just feels like, I mean, it feels that way because it is ET, but these matchups, it's just been unbelievably about the carries on either side, right? Game 1, it's Parker TA. It's unstoppable. Game 2, Yamson on the Morphlink.
Thank you, you precious
Obviously had a little bit
weakling.
more help maybe compared to the TA in the first game, but it was still all on him. And now, for Game 3, it's only appropriate that we look at this and say, Parker now in the Medusa is going to dictate a lot of how this game sort of goes. Both of these teams really feeling like they're being led from that position 1 role in this series.
And everybody is gonna kind of dive down in front of Parker to enable him, and we'll have to see as Moo. Yeah, knows now, and isn't even gonna be able to contest that. But also already on the run. Has boots first, skills up the Scorcher, and then just looks for his early exit. But boots first Doom. Interesting from Moo. Usually goes for the Wraith Band rush like most other Dooms, but in this lane, of course, and versus the Undying, is gonna try to avoid Prada as much as he can.
That was just a little bit interesting. I think Moo maybe got like slightly juked himself because his smoke popped. I think he thought it popped because it timed out, when in reality he might have been within range of the actual heroes instead, so might have been part of the reason why he still tried to go for the wraparound to drop that ward, is because he thought it was just a dissipation, not popping. But it's really not going to hurt him that much. It's unfortunate that you no longer have that ward. They've been using it so heavily to try and get Lelis in for some courier snipes, but might still be able to do it even without the confirmed vision. You just got to have better timing.
Nope, certainly could, but we already see Moo as well. Look at this.
What is
He's
this?
ready to steal. And as soon as Lel shows up, and actually Parker pulled that creep wave into the tower, kind of a overblocking mistake, but there he goes, and it gets scouted out early, so Moo is not going to get his free second wave. So unfortunate.
He's trying to be a little creative on that one, but yeah, doesn't really work out too well for him. But yeah, with the block being a little bit too strong, this does ever so slightly kind of push out, although with the Scorched Earth, yeah, Moo's gonna kind of start pushing it the other way pretty quickly. So that's the nature of the Doom. You really can't get around it unless you just plan on never using Scorched Earth, which I don't know if we've ever seen any Doom just try and bypass that skill entirely, but that does mean that Parker should have a little bit of an easier time farming.
Nope, certainly should, and with that, I think Moo also hoping, and he did get pretty lucky here. He will be able to get the mana burn creep from the Satyr, but needs to get level 2, and then can only imagine that's where his first Devour is going to be, because just way too value.
Just hold on to it for now. Make sure, Parker doesn't maybe get over there and try to kill it off quickly, but... Well, Moo does get his creep wave the second time around. Prada is hitting him up a little bit here. The decays did give him some nice strength, so a couple of swipes at the Doom do a little bit of damage, but it really shouldn't be too much. It shouldn't be enough to matter. That does matter, though. That is Frank getting picked off. He was operating on a really low amount of HP in that lane for a while, but it doesn't quite show enough respect to Yamson there. He even had the Fairy Fire, but wasn't able to pop it in time. He gets taken down. First blood to Nouns. Meanwhile, Parker is farming on the just tiniest little sliver of HP here down bot, so Wars on the Infinity side really playing a dangerous game here in the first few minutes.
Yeah, just got incredibly low. Wells had some pretty sick body blocks, and with Prada held up trying to stop the Doom from making the creep pull, quite a few creeps ended up getting stored, and the Rubik just used that with some nice body blocks to do quite a bit of damage to the Medusa. But now the creep shenanigans are only getting started, because Mu now has the creep waves pushing into him, but has to still defend his waves, and with this stacked large camp that nobody really wants a part of, it's hard to contest.
And there's Gennett getting taken down on the top lane. Didn't quite catch more than really the last moment of it, but the Ghoul Frenzy combined with the root and the slow out from Husky makes it pretty damn hard to get away. And again, we see the Hoodwinks very rarely get that earlier point up in the scurry, so you don't have the means of getting yourself out, and Nouns get back-to-back kills in the top lane.
Yeah, just boots on Yamsun as well. Just has enough to work with. It's always very scary.
Again, Parker really starting to get kind of bullied in this lane a little bit, which sounds unbelievably strange to say within the context of a Medusa, but that's twice now. His HP has been dropped down to dangerously low levels, and oh, I don't know. He's got some regen, but it really feels like he's leaning heavily on Prada to just kind of heal him up with a Soul Rip, because you see him do just that. If the risk pays off and Parker never actually gets picked off, then the efficiency play is going to be great, but that's assuming that one of these hits doesn't actually connect and take him down.
You know, they're doing a really nice job just punishing, and again, getting that mana burn creep. Even hit twice. Both the medium camp and the large camp ended up being it. Just gives you more Fade Bolts to spam, gives you more mana burns for you yourself. Just ends up with this Medusa having a really rough start. Very similar to the Chain Lightning spam, just maybe even more especially effective in Prada. A death that he doesn't mind taking, but again, it's just so he can get some more mana and some more support, because Parker is still under a lot of pressure here. And he could go underneath the tower if he wanted to, but doesn't want to risk it. Actually gets a point up in the Infernal Blade, though. Something that we haven't seen too much. A lot of Doom's just focusing on the macro game, but he decides not to. Yamsun, though, yeah, almost traded out for Frank, and does get traded out, but doesn't get any XP for the Beastmaster.
Well, it's better than going down for nothing like the last time, I suppose, but it's not the greatest of consolation prizes. It is the first kill, though, for Infinity, and well, they needed something, because they had given up quite a few pickoffs through the first few minutes here. Meantime, I guess, while we have, hopefully, a moment, we can take a look at the middle lane ET and see how this one sort of plays out. We've seen the Dawnbreaker, obviously, between core and support, but that was between the 3 and the 4 or 5. Not really so much experience seeing it in the middle lane, so is this a situation where Leo Styles just here looking for, I guess, his farm and his levels, and then the Solar Guardian plays come later, or how aggressive can he really be?
Oh, and a lot of damage, and yeah, gonna die for it with Leo showing up as well. Gonna maybe take one more remnant, one more slight, but they've got it, and yeah, he does not want the plays to come to him. He wants his opponents to rotate elsewhere, and then he finds a Solar Guardian, but that's why they bring 3, and that's exactly what he doesn't want to see. He doesn't want to have to Solar Guardian himself and sit in his own lane. Not to mention, Arcane Rune for the Ember. Gunner's already starting to get speed on another signature hero.
It's going to clear the wave before he goes over there and bottles that, but while this is going down, Gennett is going to try to force a bit of a fight. They've got the Solar Guardian, and Rage was on cooldown. Okay. The Leo style This does mean he's now up top instead of mid, but he can quickly TP back there if he wants to. For now, though, he's taking a couple of extra last hits, but now the TP will come. So they make the play. They find the kill. Only problem is Gunner, now realizing, my laning opponent was up top, which means I am free to do whatever I want in the bottom lane. Prada dead right away, and Parker, they can dive this. That mana shield only has 1 point in it, and he's already at a just incredibly low amount of both HP and mana, and he's dead.
Huh.
I think he was just trying to get a last hit before he died there, but not really a whole lot else for him to do in that area, other than just, I guess, maybe he could have tried to just hide under the tower, but decides against it.
Yeah, and Leos now does make the play top, does get at least something going, but I'm just surprised Parker didn't want to TP out. I guess didn't want to kick Frank out of his own lane, as it is kind of a grief for the Beastmaster, and yeah, this is what they do. They decide to make Medusa the new mid, just takes it over, we'll spam that out, but Moo gets a kill bottom, and Gunner's battling for the rune.
Able to pull away, and yeah, at this point, Prada's death there is unfortunate, but you got to get Parker what he needs, and he was not getting that down in the bottom lane, so... Oh, they put him mid, now they'll rotate him into the jungle a little bit, take these stacked camps, should go a long way towards helping him close that gap. Husky... what did he actually get up here? He does have the ward, excuse me, wow, forgot the word. So they do know this is happening, but Husky alone can't do much about it. Gunner, though, is way over. Can they really look for a fight, or is this just an attempt to be disruptive? Gunner, I don't really think he wants the full-on engagement just yet.
Yeah, I can't steal the stack exactly either, and I think really Infinity are going to become aware that there's a ward there more or less sooner than later, but that's also where it goes all the way around, doesn't get greedy, and back to snaking out that mid wave.
Nouns are trying to put a little bit of pressure on that tower, though. Pushing their way forward, hoping to shove the Dusa out of consecutive lanes. Would be pretty damn good, as Prada... Yeah, he's in a little bit of trouble here. Spotted out. Don't think he's really going to throw the Tombstone down at this point. Well, hold on a second. Yeah, the Tombstone comes in, but the only person TPing over is Genic, and... Is there a Solar Guardian? There is, but... Do they really want it? Oh, apparently they do. Husky's going to get picked off. The Solar Guardian really doesn't hit onto much, and oh, Lelis just stole it. He's going to pop one of his own, trying to help Gunner out. The stun comes through, locking Leo Style down. Gunner still doesn't have a lot of health. He's able to dodge out, though. Bushwhack does not connect. Gunner finds the kill. Now he's looking for another. Okay, Lelis is the one to grab it, but the point still stands. It's Nouns taking the team fight, and... Well... That's kind of an issue. I feel like that really doesn't happen all that often, but he didn't have enough time, didn't pop another ability immediately, so the Rubik steals the Solar, and I don't know if they would have been guaranteed to win the fight if he hadn't have stolen it, ET, but the fact that he does take it just ends it completely.
Yeah, and just an extremely high-leveled Rubik at that stage of the game, it makes sense why it would catch you off guard, but also brings all the attention away from Moo. Moo hasn't been laning versus anybody for the longest time. That fight's just kind of the cherry on top in his rotation. Just gets to farm extremely peacefully with this Midas and the rest of the lineup. Getting active, going on a really missed roar with the Yamsun. And sure, maybe the sharpshooter is going to land, but doesn't land on the Yamsun and then gets inside the Ember. This is pretty much the worst thing that could have happened for Nouns.
The Starbreaker missed. Now they're just kind of stuck here. There's the Searing Chains. This Genic will fall, and Leo Style, again, finds himself without his backup, just like he did in the Southside Jungle, and just like what happened there, he will fall with no kill.
Yeah, really just awkward, honestly. And sure, attention brought away from the Medusa, but look at Gunner. This is where he starts to be real annoying. He's just gonna plant his feet here, throw the remnants around, say that, hey, you guys don't got stuns. I'm just gonna do what I can, because I'm Ember in a pretty darn free Ember game. He's getting right-clicked a lot, and Genic, oh, is he just gonna...
Not so free after all, says Genic, and that is great positioning. Right? He recognizes, listen, if I go towards the Ember, he's just gonna break my ankles and make me look kind of dumb, so goes to where the remnant is, and that's still not an easy play. Bushwhack into, I think, really the full channel on the sharpshooter was needed, but it's the job done.
that's perfect. And if Infinity want any revenge, with Leosao anchoring down bottom, they should be looking for another play top. I don't think the Primal Roar gives you enough time for that Soul Guardian to land, so we probably need the Hoodwink and the Beastmaster to sync up before we can actually get a play going, but then things are looking all right. And of course, bottom, Doom lands, Lois trying to make it work, stole Celestial Hammer as well, but this is a long walk, barely connected.
Leostar gets taken down. Prada falls in the top lane as Gunnar and Yamsun make their move, and they're going to look for another. They're on to Frank. Frank turns around, drops the roar. Parker is kind of coming in from the side, but he's getting distracted by Husky. So that means Frank really is on his own right now, but he's not going to die just yet. Pops the pig pole. Has to stay in between the heroes and the Remnant, though, because the damage could just be enough to kill him. He does a little bit of a dance. He's going to be okay for now. Meanwhile, Gunnar cuts the tree as he goes, so the bushwhack won't hit him. Should be able to get away.
Yeah, it's funny stuff. Funny stuff. But they even connect all the way towards bottom, so their Doom, if need be, could be slightly involved. But still, during all of that, Parker is really not too disturbed. The Medusa continues to farm. And again, Infinity might want to look for that Solar Guardian play, but if they can't seem to find it, well, Frank is finally going to look to trade off this tier 1 tower top. A tower that nouns are okay trading because they're already on mid.
Gunner's going to work on it. Doesn't get this all that quickly. We don't really have any sort of armor reduction out from him just yet, but they'll get it slowly but surely. Tier 1 tower taken. Trade looking to happen up top. And nouns, I mean, they're making their way up here. Will they TP in anyone to act as the bait, though? As of right now, it's looking like the answer is no. So they're just going to have to rely upon, really, the element of surprise here. But I'm not sure they realize just how many heroes are up. It's 4 right in their faces as Frank, well, he's going to get hit first. Can they take him down without any roar being deployed? He doesn't have roar for 5 more seconds, so that answers that question. Not able to get it out. Leostal, though, did Solar Guardian in. It's stolen immediately by Lelis, but here comes Parker in with the Stone Gaze. They're going to be able to drop down Husky. Can they kill the Rubik as well? Yes, they can. So that stolen Solar Guardian will not come into play. And, well, it's still unfortunate to lose your Beastmaster there, but the trade goes their way. The only concern is whether or not they're going to be able to hold this tower, because Moo and Gunnar are here. They don't really have any creeps, however.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a push that's really going to come into effect, but still pretty happy. That was all time that Yamsung was just spent farming in his own jungle, working very quickly towards that Deso, and Remnant play on the Parker. Interesting. Misses the slight, though, so the Medusa just starts to walk away, but team fight and a tower claimed, one in which they lost their Beastmaster at the beginning. You know, things have gone worse for Infinity.
I mean, they'll be okay with it, at least for now, just because Parker continues to build himself up. As low as what he take? Maxed out Mystic Snake. Bad. Don't know if he's going to get too many chances to use that on opposing heroes, but if your Rubik were looking to maybe farm up an item, that's certainly going to be helpful, but he's got the lens already, T. That's, well, not all that he needs, obviously, but that's pretty solid progress at this rate, and yeah, maybe he doesn't want to take too much more away from the actual core heroes. They are, however, moving their way top. They pop the scan here as well, so they know that Frank is nearby, and they're going to make the jump in. Not even going to pop the roar. No, and at that point, there's just too many heroes, and he wasn't making it out either way.
Yeah, no, just kind of goes out with a whimper. And that's also a full Crimson Guard finished up on the Doom. So we'll have to see if that's the answer here, but kind of your old counter versus the Medusa. Of course, a lot of her damage in the early to mid-game stage is literally split, so might as well get that just guaranteed damage block out from you. It could be a situation where nouns can just go that deep and dive that long, and really, I think, enables the lifestealer even more so. Just keeping that dog on the Dusa as long as you can. And Yamsun just finished up a Deso, so we are slowly but surely building up a lot of these items. Unfortunately for Infinity, the supporting cast is not really finding all that much farm, and Frank is continually pursued, so the Beastmaster isn't really building up as they make a slight play on the bottom, but look, it's time to go. They'd be lucky if they only lose Genic, and yeah. They are lucky. Looks like they are going to TP out on the Dawn.
Genix actually getting out of here too.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. They split the attention.
Very nice little play. He fakes out going south like he's going to go all the way through the tree line and then pops the Scurry to stay in it. It's the quick TP, and I mean, you didn't really accomplish what you were hoping for, right? They don't really get any sort of play onto the Lifestealer, but nobody dies. Leo Style was able to at least do a little bit of farming. He's got the Deso up and running. He's looking now for the shards, so... Well, originally it kind of felt like the plan was to buy time just for Parker, but the rest of the lineup is taking advantage of the extra time afforded to them as well. Oh, Gunner is going to get caught. There's the roar. There's the Solar Guardian. All of that off the back of just that initial bushwhack from Genex, so he gets a little bit of revenge, and yeah, for Gunner, that's just a little too far forward.
Yeah, a real easy death to avoid once he has a Lincoln Sphere, but until then, just got punished by the vision that is narrowly avoiding an Observer Ward that they placed in the night. So just good stuff from them. No Prada sitting on his own Observer Ward, so a little scary, but seeing now how Nouns are going to get the rest of their lineup involved, it'll break open that next stage of the game. Infinity are slowly but surely working that way to the helm of the Overlord, in which case Frank will just try to force the Roche, and then that's where Nouns have to check themselves, see if they are ready to take a Roche fight at that early stage. I certainly think they can. I also certainly think they can swing it as well, but it's where they don't have a hero like the Beastmaster. The Doom can certainly tank for Yamsun, and maybe that's enough to get it started, but it certainly will not be fast. They are looking for kills as opposed to any of those objectives just yet. And it looks like they will get the Centaur. Poor creeps. All of Frank's creeps just die so quickly, but they still need to get aggressive onto the Radiant side of the map. They are just getting time now, and Parker is getting further and further out of the map, but also closer to that Scotty.
Progress is coming along. We do see a move, though, towards that pit. Nouns are going to try to take this. They do not do it all that quickly, but with the armor reduction, there we go. That's going to speed it up a little bit more, and, well, is it enough time? They already get hit by the bushwhack. There's a sharpshooter coming in. It hits Yamsun as well, so he's got to be very careful. Goes for the infest play into his teammate. It's going to allow him to just heal back up. Nouns can reset, or maybe just try and go back in. They're looking to clean up the tombstone at the moment, and okay, they do take that down first, but does mean that they can't finish off Roshan just yet. So the two teams sort of back off. Parker, though, is pushing his way forward. At this point, he feels pretty confident, right? He's got Stone Gaze, he's got Manta. It would take a hell of a lot from Nouns to actually lock him up.
Yep, still very scary, and they are doing a pretty nice job. They're waiting for Moo's Blink Dagger to come. Then Nouns go for another resmoke, try to capitalize on this ward that's still just barely surviving, and then they can make another force happen. But until then, really, they don't want to wait too long, though, because if you do, that is just going to be a Scotty that you're going to have to deal with, in which case Yamsun is just going to get kited to hell. So really, the force is coming now.
The ward got taken out, so they no longer have that vision to sort of work around. Do they go back in? They're looking at it, but yeah, Hawk just watching him. They did throw a sentry down, and now the Sleight of Fist will connect, so Hawk gets cleaned up, but can they take Roshan time? Those are coming back over. Tombstone's back up. Prada's probably just going to throw that in first. Puts it on the outside of the pit, though, actually, so they can't take it down immediately. And they're going to try and make a move. A stolen Tombstone's going to be deployed, though, and Yamsun, he was able to get the Aegis, but they hit him with the Roar. They're going to take that life out right away. Gunner, though, look at him kind of angling around the back line, looking to jump in. They are getting the damage onto Frank as quickly as they can. The Medusa in some trouble now as well, as he was hit by the Doom. He's dishing out a lot of damage, but it's not going to be enough. And now Leo Style, left alone in the pit, is not going to be able to survive. Nouns take the fight. They lose nothing but the Aegis itself.
I offer wisdom. You are in need of
Well,
much more.
we were talking about how the Dusa was going to be okay with being doomed, but not if you're then in the middle of all 5 heroes just completely focusing their damage in onto you.
Yeah, that's where need force staffs, need ways to move her around. It cannot end up just taking that much damage, otherwise you will die like that. And even though it is just the Aegis expended, that is pretty big. That will really move nouns slightly further back. It makes the push a little bit less free. This, though, is pretty free. Genic just caught out middle of nowhere. Got scouted by creeps, which is kind of unfortunate. Mood didn't look like he wanted to go for him until the creeps made it that easy. But this is a window now where Roche is not an objective to worry about. This is pretty much free farm for Parker in time that they might be able to just sit and farm. Nice jump, though. Really quick and easy kill. That's the blink reveal for the Rubik as well. And nouns are in that realm of luxury when it comes to their items. All of that mobility is now online for the sporting cast.
Hmm. Got a lot more to work with, and they are hoping to keep the momentum going, pushing their way towards bot, where Leo Style is currently hiding out. I don't think nouns necessarily know that, but they are taking a look, and well, Leo Style decides that's his cue to leave. He'll TP himself away. Genic was actually TPing down there, maybe just in case they spotted his teammate, but once it's clear that Leo Style's leaving, he cancels that TP.
Yep, as he should. Parker continues to farm top. Nouns are dragging their feet a little bit when it comes to getting these lanes in, but eventually they will start to get back onto these tier 2 towers, and we'll have to see how Infinity decide to defend those objectives, because they decide to stamp their feet into the ground a little bit too early. If they take a team fight loss in addition to losing a building, that's where you have to be really careful with how you sack or when you do sack, because they could just decide to farm, just decide to wait. Parker's about to have a Scotty, and then he will be a magnitude of strength larger and tankier to deal with, but it's where I think some of those trades just have to come out at this point.
Nope. Scotty picked up. Parker, under the cover of the smoke, is kind of making his way over here towards Moo. But Moo realizing, yeah, if Prada is running towards me while having vision, something else is going on here. So, blinks away, stays safe. Lelis is kind of trailing that play just in case Infinity still push forward, but no opportunity will sort of show itself.
No, and interestingly enough, Moo took Devour can target Ancients, so I'm excited to see what he decides to go for, or if there is anything. Warstomp's pretty heckin' good, but there is a Rubik Bomb right now.
So he might just try to, I guess, eat the whatever the Helm of the Overlord creep is, just take it out immediately, but I guess we'll see. In the meantime, down bot, Leo Style caught out, taken down, no doom necessary. Lelis almost dies to the sharpshooter, but it's not enough damage, and then Genic gets caught. Gunner's able to bring him down, and well, we keep talking about how Infinity are buying time, how they need more time. Technically speaking, that's one way to buy it, but well, Leo Style at this point really doesn't feel like he does all that much.
Yeah, and all they're looking for now with nouns is to get that glyph right there, which means that now they can go for the mid T2, they can go for the top T2, and there will be much less resistance that they have to deal with. They got exactly what they wanted just now.
Tactical plan coming in there from the noun side, and maybe looking for a little bit of chip damage here too. That's a bit more than chip damage actually. Half HP already before the backdoor protection kicks in. But there's going to be the roar. They've locked down Gunner. Can they kill him in time? Not quite yet. Force Staff into Sleight of Fist. He is going to be able to jump back to the Remnant. That is a sizable problem. That's Roar down. That's Stone Gaze used. And they don't get anything for it.
Yeah, I just wasn't able to connect, and I don't know if the tree got cut with a Force Staff or what happened there, but the Bushwhack didn't seem to land. And then the slight dodge of that sharpshooter makes it look even niftier, but base defended, something for Infinity, but definitely not what they were expecting. That would have given quite the bounty to them. That would have been a very, very nice pickup. They do immediately split out onto the map, though, just trying to take over as much of that map as they can, while nouns are scrambling to run back out those lanes. As Leo Style, yeah,
What
just
are we to
caught
do with
trying to push
this?
in, just getting punished. Has a shard, so it's hard, but once he has this blink dagger, that split push play can maybe be a little bit more consistent. Till then, it is very difficult to be this Dawnbreaker.
Just not really getting any opportunities to do anything. Every time he tries to get out to farm, he is being punished pretty heavily, so At least he's finding something. I mean, the progress is slow and it keeps getting reset every time he dies, but... Or set back, rather. But he's close, right? So... I just,
Hmm.
don't quite understand. It could be one of the supports, making that sacrifice in order to buy the time, but... Maybe if it's a support, nouns don't really care enough to bring the resources for those kills, as Moo's gonna get hit by the bushwhack. Okay, the roar's in, the Solar Guardian's there, and they've got the pick. What did he give up? It's Solar Guardian stolen again.
Yeah, no, Gunner's got a crazy play he can make with Lelis, but this is too good of a tombstone. They can't actually close the gap. This is where they should respect each other right now. But I was going to mention it. Moo, not going for a BKB, really greedy with his build. The Shiva's guard,
Yeah.
sure, he's got armor, but really, he can die at any moment. This,
Oh,
though,
Leo style.
might just be a free Leo style. He's got Stone Gaze, though, and they are going to go for it. Where's the Solar Guardian? That's 2 more remnants. He got Stone Gazed.
Gunner is gonna start jumping away. Lelis didn't really do too much with that Solar Guardian, and Gunner is still dead. That is remarkable. Just a miscommunication between the two.
Yeah, and getting slowed by the Scotty, getting slowed by the Boars. They don't cover that much distance, and they thought that they could get that kill onto Leo style and then walk away. And, you know, it's been Nouns' game pretty much every step of the way up until this point. But that's where Medusa is that fine line where you lose 2 team fights and then it's incredibly difficult to recover. As well as Parker just finishing up a full Daedalus, so he can certainly do the DPS now.
He is a tough hero in terms of the ability to bring him down, and now the damage he does. He's got the Titan Sliver as well, so... Man, Nouns. I mean, they can bully everyone else, sure, but Parker may become an issue for them, and this is not the time if you're Nouns. Now is not the time in the game when you want to start running into issues. Now is the time when you want to start ramping up and really starting to put the clamps on this game, and I know it does feel weird to say that they're not doing that up by 11k, but there's a Medusa on the other side.
Medusa, who's top of the net worth, is still in a very good position, just hit level 20, and that is an incredibly early Roche timer. One that Nouns, who haven't been playing up here because they're still trying to force, need to scout out right now. They need to smoke, they need to place vision, in which case they might be able to find a punish, but Prada barely sees the Roche, knows that it's available. I honestly don't know who this Roche favors more, because of course, you'd say Nouns could just take the team fight, force Infinity to take another disadvantageous team fight out of the base, but at the same time, they've hit such a large power spike with the Medusa. If they get any pick right now, this could be the beginning of the snowball.
Smoke pops on the Dusa, so they are going to fall back. And yeah, they do suspect there's vision up there. They'll take it away. I do want to point out, though, this is a little bit of a rush, but Lelis just straight up has an Octarine core. Blink Octarine, not a whole lot in the way of defense or utility, but, I mean, he's got damage. He's got stolen spells, so it's a risk, but it feels like one that might pay off. Speaking of risks, just straight into the pit. They're going to give it a go on the Infinity side. Gunner did drop down a Remnant, however, but it's just not going to be in time.
Oh boy, it's happening. It's being allowed. And now, all of the items in succession are getting built up. Wheel Style is looking for a BKB. Ark is getting a Hurricane Pike. It's just too quick, just abusing the Undying, and then everybody's ready on Nouns. They were so prepared for that jump, and they're going to find a jump on Organic. Something they might even be able to continue onto the Undying, but an Aegis Medusa, that's not your target. Just feels like now it is mode ignore the Medusa, and that's what they're doing. They're even looking for Leo style top right now, and Leo, well, might just be caught already, so that's kind of unfortunate for him, but the rest of the lineup will take the rest of the map, and still unable to get onto any other objectives.
Yep. Again, it buys them more time, and well, the Medusa now has the Cold-Blooded. Took the shard off of Roshan there, so if you are going to try and get onto the Medusa, it's got to be through AoE damage, otherwise you are going to lock yourself down for at least a little bit going the other way, so... tough tasks ahead of Nouns. Yeah, okay, Lelis needs to find something different here. He stole Split Shot, which... Still kind of, still a little bit upset that you can actually steal Split Shot, just... Not the best of spells for the Rubik, but whatever.
Yeah, it really couldn't be much worse, but, you know, he'll that's why he's got the Octarine. He'll get it soon. He's about to be level 18 as well, so 3-second CD on the ultimate, and they are getting this tier 2 mid for free, even though it looks like they want the
Ooh.
angle, and if they get it, he doesn't
Aggressive
have rage, he
TP.
just used it. Oh
Got the
no.
Solar Guardian. Yamsun not going to get hit, but the Sharpshooter actually hits him, so he's broken. Now the Starbreaker hits up onto him in Leo style. Oh, hold on a second. They didn't get the kill. He's able to infest to Gunner first. And Gunner is just going to make the great escape. Somehow gets his teammate out, or does he? Leo style blinked forward, trying to get the last Starbreaker hit. Not going to be able to connect. At this point, I don't think you want to chase much further. You're not going to be able to maintain cohesion with all 5 of your heroes if you push all the way across.
Yeah, and not with the tower getting denied, so now there's no reason for Parker to kind of kill himself there. So he's going in.
Whoa.
Yeah, you saw the Beastmaster on the low ground, and okay, saving the Doom for the second life. This is how Parker dies.
Where is the help? Where are his reinforcements? Leo style pushed into the river trying to catch Lelis, but that means he's not even remotely close to Parker, who gets doomed up, and I mean, he's dead. They can't kill him quickly, but with no one else coming over, it's only a matter of time. Oh boy. Infinity kind of feels like they forgot rule number 1 of a Medusa lineup, and that rule is you protect the Medusa.
Oh, and huge loss. Yamsun, he's clawing away at that mid-tier 2, but this is where the base is going to take a lot of damage, and the other Law of Medusa is, he's not going to play with buyback. He's playing for his items. He would have had a really nice butterfly timing, and the rest of the lineup's crumbling.
Leo Style's going to get picked off again. No buyback available, dead for 50. Meanwhile, Prada rooted up, dropped down. The Nouns have found their breakthrough. Took them a while here, longer than they might have liked, but only really got to get the Medusa once or twice, and this kind of play opens up. That's a full lane of racks taken, and with no buybacks available, they can swing for a second, realistically pick that up. Mega's maybe not quite in the cards because there is still a tier 2 up in that top lane, but they're going to get at least 2 unless Gunner just maybe gets a little preoccupied going for kills, but that doesn't take long. Gennett gets taken down, and they're back onto the objective.
Yeah, they just need to stay in the fountain, and that's where Frank, well, he learned his lesson, but still an expensive lesson, and you're getting those luxury items. I think there's an almost Ags coming out for the Doom now. Yamsun has a Dasher, he's got the completed Scotty, and it is time to run, and yeah, not going to stick around for that range Rax, knowing that, okay, it might be time to go, but only one more Rax to play around, and one more team fight to win, and then Nouns have it, but still, they have to kill Medusa on her own terms now. This is where Infinity have no reason to do anything crazy. Parker is just going to sit and defend his buildings for the rest of the game.
Yeah, they're able to catch him maybe a little bit too far forward, a little bit too spread out last time, but the likelihood of that mistake happening again is not quite non-existent, but pretty damn close. They know that they're on the back foot now, but well, what do they have in terms of the itemization? That BKB that Leo Style had been working on really kind of hits a wall with those 2 or 3 deaths, but still trying for it. Meanwhile, Frank working his way towards a blink, but he's only about halfway there, so with Parker taking so much of the farm, they might not really be able to get too much on anyone else before the next fight comes around.
It's where they're only getting super creeps really right now. They have to wait for their opponents to push in top, and even once that happens, you still might just lose. It's a very scary position to be in. Park is getting a BKB as well, and he'll have to TP back sooner than later here. And Gunner can still play just as aggressively as he wants to on the rest of the lineup, and yep, not set up in the base. That's a very, very dead Beastmaster. And now 50 seconds without him, 4v5 to defend your final racks, no BKB. Where's the lineup? Nobody's in the base right now. Parker will finally show up, but this is not good.
He's disarmed immediately by the halberd, so pressure continues to be put onto the racks. He is going to go for the ult now. That will push Nouns back, at least for the time being. That buys Leo Style time to blink in, but there's going to be the jump. They're trying to get onto the Medusa. They hit him up with the Doom. There's going to be the Solar Guardian, though, but it immediately leads to Leo Style's death, and he doesn't have buyback available. And that might just do it. Prada's going to buy back, but even if the Medusa could somehow be healed right now, you don't have the damage to actually kill anyone, and that really should be the end of it. That is 4 dead. Well, 5 dead now. As Prada dies, buys back, and dies again, and there's your GG. Nouns, well, hit a speed bump at the start of this series, ET, but they... Ooh, that's not cool, man.
I pity
They
your
managed to come back with
mediocre
back-to-back
spectre.
wins. Leo style a little bit salty on the back end of it, and Nouns take it.
No, hard-fought victory, and hey, product released them from the game. You know, got to kill Gunner, even trade if I say so myself. You know, scuff the stats a bit, but no, a very clean game from them in game 3 here. A little bit scary versus the Medusa, but then Infinity become their own worst enemies and give off probably the most important kill that resulted in them losing the game. But up until that point, all 5 members of Nouns looked better than all 5 members, or I guess all 4 members of Infinity. Really, it was just the Medusa. And sure, Infinity tried to execute this strategy, a strategy that has worked for them in the past and for Parker especially, but they run out of gas, they run out of time, they get kind of worked. And I think, especially after that Aegis went and they got the kill into Parker, really, it looked like the game plan just died for Infinity. Everybody just started getting picked off. Gunner started balling out of control. It ends the game with 21 kills, as I feel like most Ember Gunner games end up going. But just feel like he got to play Ember and did exactly what he wanted to do. And the rest of the lineup really couldn't keep pace with Parker, which probably would have made the game a whole lot easier.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, we had concerns, right? Looking at the lineups, we were sort of wondering what's Noun's plan going to be to deal with the Dusa, and for most of the game, they were actually able to just kind of ignore him, which against Parker, that's a pretty high risk, just letting him farm, but they came with the firepower that they needed eventually, and as you said, Parker may be very, very strong, but if the rest of the lineup can't provide any backup, there's only so much that can be done.
Yeah, but it's okay. Now they get to prove why they are the invited team at the event, and we get a word from Yamsun. So easy winners interview.
Mm-hmm. We do have Yemson, as ET said, so we are going to be getting him in here in just a minute. Need a second to set everything up, but we will be right back with that winner's interview. So don't go anywhere. Got Yamson on the line. Just a minute or two. Ta-da! Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are here for our winner's interview. We have Yamson, aka Eve of Nouns, with us. So thank you for joining us. We won't keep you too long. Probably a little bit tired after that one.
Yep, pleasure to be here.
Well, I guess we'll just start it off first and foremost with the question for you on a maybe personal note. How do you end up sort of moving over to Nouns? Were you approached by the team? Were you approached by Neff? Did you sort of talk to them? How did that sort of transfer play out for you?
I was originally reached out to by Lellis after the conclusion of the international, after the main tournament was over, and we were planning on making a team. Some pieces went and came here and there. I think the team we originally wanted didn't exactly happen, so it kind of just ended up that Gunner was looking for the same players that we were looking for, and the Nouns org wanted to sponsor a team for the rest of the for like a year as opposed to what they were doing before in like 3 or 4 month stretches and seeing how it went. They were really pleased with how the last team turned out, I guess, and I think it was like a mutual benefit for both sides. So they're looking to sponsor us for a year, I guess, and we kind of just ended up after a few weeks. I said we finally came up with this roster to see if we could be one of the best teams in North America, I think.
And well, I'm not going to ask you if you think you can do that because obviously the answer is yes. But where do you guys feel that you're at right now in terms of your preparation, your readiness for DPC? Do you think you're there right now? Do you think there's still maybe a little bit more room to improve before the season starts? What do you think?
So we're dealing with a few mixed pieces, I guess. One is that Lelis is playing a new role, and the other is that some of us haven't been playing too much Dota after the international, so we're kind of warming up. I would say we're in the not really growing pains phase. I like to use that word in interviews a lot, but I think we're just a new team or whatever. we've been scrimming a lot of good teams. We've had mixed results. We're pretty satisfied with what we learn every day. I think we've only been scrimming for like less than 2 weeks. I think we haven't been playing for very long together, but it feels good to win the first official. So I think on my last team, I mean, last year Wildcard was a new team too, and we didn't really scrim great teams, but we won a lot. So I think we were very confident going into the DPC, and then we ended up being EG in the first season. So I would say your mood has to do a lot with it, but I think every one of us believes that we have the potential to go far, or else we wouldn't decide to play with each other. So I think we're looking to make a good impression, I suppose, but improving is the number one goal right now.
You guys certainly looked pretty good getting the win in this series, going to the full 3 games. So, congratulations again, and I'll hand it over to ET, who's 100% unbiased here. You know, no
Yeah, no, I
personal.
mean, Yamson has them too somewhere.
Well, it
I
makes sense that he
probably,
has
I mean, well, I mean,
them.
maybe, but so are relations with the old ex wildcard members still good? Because I know that, things look kind of dicey for them in this tournament right now and with how things stand with the roster, but are you still talking with those guys?
There's a lot of drama going on with them, but none of it really has to do with me. I'm just
Okay,
chilling.
you're
I
just
mean,
chilling.
originally Sammy told me he wanted to play carry after the LCQ was over. So I
And you
suppose
said
that
no?
there's I mean, no, I guess that's where the disconnect is or whatever. He wanted to play the role again, and he thinks he can play better or whatever. So I'm not even sure if he's gonna end up playing carry this season, but that's kind of where the separation happened, I guess. Everyone else said they were probably willing to play with each other again. We had a weird situation because our mid was a stand, and we kind of picked up
Hmm.
in the middle of a boot camp. Don't think that's ever happened to anyone before, but the results were good. I think people were happy with the way our LCQ performance turned out. We were the only team to get past the first round, I think, from NA or SA. That
Hmm.
felt really good. Winning an international playoff series felt really great. So I would say sometimes change is important, and I'm looking to take my experiences into the new year, I suppose.
And you didn't want to play four, no more lion for you.
No, I'm good.
And I guess to talk about your new sponsor and your new team, is there anything that you just know already and can feel with nouns that they run things maybe better or just straight up differently from Wildcard? Or is it just all hands off, just blank check and let you run wild? Or are they giving you a little bit more
He
structure?
wants dirt on Neff. That's what he's asking.
I mean,
It's different for sure, but I've been pleased with everything so far. Like I said, it's nice to be playing on a sponsored team as always. And I didn't really have any complaints about the last org. Uh, yeah, I don't know. It is a bit different. Can't really go into too many specifics because I haven't been here for that long. But uh, yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I look forward to working with them for the rest of the year.
no, cool. And it's cool to hear that you are going to be on for the rest of the year because I know that that was a tough decision for Nouns last time around, but it's going to be interesting to see how you guys grow and move on. But thank you so much, Yamson.
Okay, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Oh, get ourselves a chance to talk over with Yamsun. Oh, you're gonna take the glasses off now. All right, I see how it is.
They can only buy me for so, no, I'm kidding.
Yo,
But no, it's
ET's
hard
out
to
here.
see. It's literally hard to see. Kind of, we're getting there. The designs are zeroing in. But sunglasses indoors. The digital ones are a little bit easier to see out of, but no, it's cool. It's good. And no, the year thing is huge. It is a very different. And of course, if you go to the Nouns website and you see the way they run things and how proposals work, I think giving a Dota team that full year is just a huge sigh of relief because now, and of course, always their performance is going to kind of rely on what's going on, but I think that they have time to fail and experiment, and it's not just 2 months and then, oh God, we're not going to make it. We're not going to make it. Freak out. We didn't qualify. They get that breathing room, which I think is so important.
Yeah, we always talk about that. The best teams, obviously in North and South America, where you and I obviously have our our specialty, but across all of Dota, the team that has the most stability isn't always the best, but they have the best chance of becoming one of those top squads. It really is kind of understated a lot of the times just how much an org that is going to allow you to focus on just playing Dota matters for a lot of these guys.
No, for sure. And hey, win their first series. A lot of those invited teams winning their first series. I think Thunder Awakened being our only upset of that initial bracket. But now we have to see, and well, we'll have to see if Infinity can maybe bounce back because now it's elimination time for some of these squads. And again, you don't want to be the team that got what lose two BO3s and then you're done in a tournament, especially for the one invited team that got knocked down. That's where there wasn't a lot of Dota that got played. Don't want Beast Coast to go out like that.
Mm-hmm. At least, even if Beast Coast do get eliminated, they took one game off of Thunder Awaken, so you won't have the notorious 0 in the win column, but it'd be a disappointment. And you could ask any member of that Beast Coast lineup, they will tell you that is just a disappointment and it won't be acceptable for them. So we'll see. That matchup is coming tomorrow, though. We are shifting things down to the lower bracket for tomorrow's matches. It'll be 5 Rat 4 Staff versus Beast Coast, along with Wildcard taking on this Infinity lineup. So, elimination on the line always adds just a little bit more to the stakes, to the tension, et. So, we'll see which of those quartet of teams sort of brings their A game tomorrow.
No, definitely very excited. Looking forward to those games.
You can join us for those matches tomorrow afternoon. Same start time as always, 1 p.m. Pacific time. But for now, we are going to be getting out of here. So again, thank you to Yamsun for coming and talking to us. Starting to kind of get late out there on the East Coast, but appreciate him coming and having a chat with us anyway, and we hope that you join us tomorrow. For now, though, thank you all so much, and we will see you later.